Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. I am Cassie.
And I'm Zoe. Thank you for your patience with the late upload.
Yes, we are a week behind, but sometimes life just gets busy. We were camping and Zoe had her test and there was other things going on. So we are back now. We'll double up a couple weeks anyways to catch up on some episodes that we missed. But we're just happy if you're here with us again this week for a season 1, episode 3
Yeah, thank you.
Discussion.
Woo!
Before we get started, I think Zoe and I had discussed that maybe we were going to do our little catch-ups at the beginning of the episode instead of at the very end.
Makes more sense that way.
Yeah, and very little about what we do makes sense, but this seemed logical. So, how are you doing, my girl?
I'm doing bad. Recently, I went through a breakup after 9 months.
Yeah.
And that's my first one. So it's been pretty hard.
It's been a bit of a bumpy week. Yeah.
It's been a bumpy week. A bumpy week. But, I've got my family, I've got my friends, and I've been looking for a new job. So I recently found a really cool diner downtown that's hiring. So I'm going to try to apply down there and see if that works out for me. And if I get a job there, then there's a lot of change that's going to be happening that I think is going to be good for me.
Yeah, positive change, keeping you busy, make that money.
Yeah, and I've changed my piercing setup on my nose.
Oh, very important information,
which is very
everybody. Tune in.
It is very important because now, I'm looking for a fresh start and to change some things about myself. So I think it's really good that I changed my piercings a little bit. It's a bit different for me.
We always have to do that after a breakup as women, and that's a lot safer of a bet than cutting bangs.
Yeah. I will not go back to that.
You are the one that made me get bangs.
You look great, though. I think the older you get, it's better for you to get bangs because it makes you look younger.
Yes, she turned this millennial around. She
Middle part.
Made me get rid of my side part.
I didn't know. I didn't make her do anything.
I know.
She wanted to look younger.
We all hold on to that side part for dear life.
I have friends with side parts. It's cute.
I got a middle part and bangs, and let me tell you, I do look younger.
Yeah.
It did in fact work. So don't be afraid of it. You can still cling on to those skinny jeans, but she also caught me into baggy jeans. And again, I look younger.
Low-rise boot cut.
Not that looking younger is all the rage or all that's
but you are young, so you want to stay hip
Thank
to
you.
stuff.
Yes.
I totally get it.
Now that I'm 35, I realize 30s is not one foot in the grave.
No.
Even if my knees and my back are telling me otherwise.
13 going on 30.
30, and thriving.
And thriving. Next step for
Are
me.
we thriving? I feel like I'm 30, flirty, and surviving.
And surviving.
But anyway, well, I'm sorry for your breakup.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to dye my hair back to brown.
Say, yeah, it's okay.
Blonde.
I'm going to die.
I'm going to die. No.
I was like, oh, no.
It's okay. I've got my kitties. I've got my best friends. One of them dropped off a really sweet little care package of goodies for me yesterday. Sweet. It was so kind, and it meant the world to me.
You
so
also have
I'm
your
doing
mom.
good. And I have my mom. I said my family earlier, though, so I
wanted to be called out directly.
My mom held me while I cried.
And I always will.
Yeah.
Even when you're 60.
She let me snot all over her pretty
she did,
outfit.
In fact, do that.
Yeah.
She did. And I don't like snot.
I'm sorry.
But I like your snot, my girl.
No, you don't have to.
That's a weird thing to say. Anyway.
I like your snot, too.
I like your snot.
That's so gross.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to say aside from I was just having fun with the new Taylor Swift album.
Woo!
And went to the movie release party with a bunch of friends yesterday, and that was really fun.
So cool.
Yeah, I love my girls. They're great. Shout out my book club. Mm-hmm. They're awesome. If you have the opportunity to join a smutty book club, definitely do it. You'll meet some amazing people. We had fun camping.
And we went camping. Yeah, camping was great.
Right by the river. It was really lovely.
I had a skunk digging under my side of the tent. That was chill.
Yeah, she did. Literally woke up to a skunk trying to burrow under her side of
And I've never seen a skunk before, so that was pretty cool.
It was real cute.
Yeah. You went to see, my mom saw a Rocky Horror Night.
Rocky Horror. Yeah, it was cool.
And it was hosted by
Nell Campbell. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I hope that's her name. Now I'm panicking. But it's the
okay. Magnolia
actress that played Columbia.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say it wasn't the one that we thought it was. It was
no. Columbia, but it was really,
which is
really
good because
cool.
Columbia is cooler.
Oh, she was so. Well, all of them are equally cool, but it was a lot of fun.
Columbia is cool.
We got to dress up. And they had like a shadow cast acting out at the very
front. I've always wanted to see one of those.
And I feel like every single time I see Rocky Horror, I actually like it more. The first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you notice something different every time that you watch it.
And I feel like I get the story a bit more. It's funnier a bit more. I really enjoy it. And I'm just grateful I have like a partner, because it was my boyfriend who got me into Rocky Horror. It's
a straight man?
No! A straight man, no! And so it's just fun being able to go and share those things with him.
Yeah. Oh, he got us into Drag Race too.
Yeah.
Love him for that.
We keep David. Shout out to David.
Ew, David.
Ew, David. That's been life. Mm-hmm. So thank you again for joining us and coming back. We're going to try to be more consistent.
And it's October now, so you guys better be watching your scary movies, getting in the Halloween spirit. You better be watching Hocus Pocus.
I am all decorated for the holidays. You can't see it.
But it's there.
It is. It's fully decorated. I do love my cozy vibes.
Absolutely.
I'm back in cardigans. Cardi.
Oh, wow. It is a great season for Gilmore Girls, too. This is where most people start their Gilmore Girls craze. I am an autumn.
Yes. So it is the Gilmore Girls seasons. And then a really quick shout out to Miss Lauren Graham, because she got a star on the Walk of Fame yesterday.
Oh, wait, that's the mom?
Yes.
I didn't see that. That's so cool. You got to pay for that.
Do you pay for it yourself?
Yeah, you pay for it. I think you get nominated, but you got to pay for your star.
Oh, okay.
Most people do.
I thought people were just going up and being like, hey, I want a star.
Well, I'm sure maybe there's like a thing where people like donate to help you get it if they think you should get it. But I know a lot of people just buy their own.
The one thing that threw me off is Alexis wasn't there.
The kid.
Why don't you know?
I'm sorry, because it's Rory. Why aren't you saying Rory?
Rory wasn't there for
she's
Lorelai
probably
getting
busy.
her star.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing. But yeah, so congratulations,
woo,
Mom. And yeah, so let's just jump right on in.
Absolutely.
As I said, we are on
Season 1, Episode 3, which is called Kill Me Now.
Okay, here we go. Recap. At Friday night dinner, it is discussed that Rory is needing an athletic requirement for Chilton, leading Emily to suggest joining Richard for a day of golf to see if it would be something she enjoys, but also encourage grandfather and granddaughter bonding. Everyone but Emily feels very unsure about this, and Lorelai is convinced Rory will hate it. However, Rory and Richard end up having a very pleasant day, and this throws Lorelai for a loop, causing her to respond out of jealousy and insecurity, which leads to her and Rory fighting. In the midst of all this, Laura is helping throw a hilarious double wedding that definitely is keeping her on her toes. In the end, Lorelai realizes why she reacted so poorly and acknowledges and apologizes to Rory, but is still left sitting on the couch alone at her parents' house, feeling those same feelings of insecurity and jealousy at the end of the episode.
They call me Bond. James Bond.
Why did you say that?
You said bonding earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt. But that was my connection to that.
Good story, bro.
Thank you. So quite the episode today. We get a bit more of an insight on the dynamic of the family, including Lorelai and her mother.
Yes. I have questions for you.
I have questions for you.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors. Who goes first?
Yeah, because my first question is pretty much immediate.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I went late. That's the generational difference here. She doesn't go on shoot.
I don't go on shoot.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, she wins.
I won.
All right, ask your question.
That's why shoot's better. Okay, so my question is, do you agree with Lorelai that Emily was being too controlling by making Richard take Rory golfing? And do you think that she was trying to make Rory like them to make Lorelai look unreasonable?
I don't think Emily was necessarily being too controlling. I think her forcefulness was coming out of a place of excitement and eagerness for more bonding with Rory, even if it was with Richard. But what was the final part of your question?
Well, do you think that it was Emily's way of kind of making Lorelai look unreasonable because Rory's then going to look at Emily and Richard as kind of cool and fun to be around?
I do think Emily was playing a game.
Yeah.
I do think she was, and I get more into that as we go because I want us to get through like kind of the whole
each section,
sections.
I think it was definitely about social status too, parading Rory around as like their successful young granddaughter, and we see that a little bit later. But
yeah, I do think it was maybe not to make her look unreasonable, but to rub it rub it in her face
a
little bit.
I think it was to kind of make her look a little...
It was to make her look bad. As much as I don't agree with a lot of Lorelai in this episode, and we'll get to that too, I really saw the game that Emily was playing.
Mm-hmm. It's also one of those things where, because Rory needs a sport credit for her school, and, you know, Richard and Emily are rich and involved in a high status golf club and stuff, it would make complete sense for Emily to want to push Rory to go there, because as someone that went to a somewhat rich school out in the place we used to live in, golfing...
Not one I had to pay for. Don't get it twisted.
No. She did not have to pay for it. It was just like a richer area, very academic. All of the successful rich kids that graduated with the highest grades, they were all golfers. Mm-hmm. And 2 of them ended up going to a golf university.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I know that it's definitely a sport that would have looked good for Rory. And also, later on, Lorelai uses the word manipulated to describe Emily trying to get Rory and her grandfather to hang out. And I thought that was a little intense. I'm not saying Emily doesn't manipulate, but I don't think her saying over dinner that the 2 of them should go golfing is manipulation.
I think it was a little bit, even if it wasn't necessarily like coming from an evil intention place, but it's like there was many other sports. Chilton had many things to offer, and Emily went, oh, golf. Yes, of course. You know what, Rory? Richard loves golfing, and you should go. Actually, I'm going to arrange it for you, and it'll be great. Mm-hmm. And because it does, yes, it is bonding for Richard and Rory, but it also is going to benefit them, as you said, status-wise, to have their very smart granddaughter that they can now finally parade around their country club.
Yeah.
So I do think there was a slight manipulation, but I don't think it was like just like full of evil intent, because I do think they actually do love Rory.
Well, and I think, right? You know, we see a lot of that in our dynamic with my grandma, where there's a lot of wrongs that want to be recorrected, like with me. I know that my grandma makes an effort to show up with me in ways that she wasn't able to show up with you at the time, or didn't allow herself to show up with you at the time. And I see how Emily, who has a husband who doesn't take charge in a lot of things, would need to take it upon herself to force him to go out and do something with their granddaughter and try to have a positive relationship between the 2 of them that she didn't get to see between her daughter and Richard. Regardless of whether or not that was Emily and Richard's fault, because I do believe it was that they didn't have a good relationship with Lorelai, I understand her missing getting to have that connection.
See, I didn't interpret it as that at all.
No?
I interpreted it as they want that relationship with Rory because they love her, but I did not see it as them going like, oh, well, we missed out on it with Lorelai, so let's make sure we have it with Rory.
Really? Because I feel like that's kind of the whole show. They're using Rory to live out this life that they had wished Lorelai would have lived out for them.
Maybe I haven't gotten to that point yet, and that's in my feelings with them, because to me, like, here, even within this episode, and I bring it up again later on, Lorelai tries to even share that she's planning this big wedding, and Emily doesn't even try to engage in it, doesn't try to ask questions, nothing. She could try to be growing this relationship with her own daughter, but could give 2 shits because it's not what she's interested in. But Rory going to Chilton, oh, that's status, that's money, that's in their world, so they're interested.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're living what they had wished Lorelai did through Rory. So it's still viewing Lorelai as a failure.
Okay, I thought you were trying to say that they were trying to correct their failures.
No, it's trying to correct Lorelai's failures.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's how I view that. I don't think they've reached the point where they see it in that other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for misunderstanding.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, because what was my question? Let's talk about how Emily twisted the tables on Lorelai in the beginning scene. It was quite masterful the way she managed to turn it around and show that Lorelai was being the controlling one. Ah, yes.
That's what you thought.
Not when they would decide to go on the golfing. Sorry, it's been like a week since we watched the episode.
Yeah.
But when Lorelai goes in and approaches Emily and tell her that
at the nail salon?
No. That was the episode before.
Oh.
Lorelai and Emily are like, they're talking, I think, in the living room by themselves.
Okay.
And Lorelai is kind of going, through the conversation and being like, well, you're being manipulative and you're being this, and like you shouldn't be forcing Rory to go, blah, blah, blah. And Emily's like, oh, but you're saying that you don't want Rory to go and you're doing this. So doesn't that kind of make you the controlling one? How the tables have turned. And I thought it was kind of like a really masterful little like way to ring it around, even though I didn't find it super fair. But she did have a bit of a point.
Well, I was going to say, the thing is, it is clear that Emily was happy in that moment because it gave her a reason to look better than Lorelai. And 100%. That's something worth being like critiquing her on. However, her point and what she said to Lorelai was deserved. And I think it gave Lorelai things to think about, because Lorelai is, you know, making decisions for Rory. Because Rory never said, like, even when they were in the car and she was like, well, how are we going to get out of you going to golf? Rory wasn't against, she wasn't against going to golf with her father. Yeah. So Lorelai was taking control and making decisions for her daughter based on Lorelai's preferences and what she's comfortable with and what she wants. And that's exactly what Emily and Richard did to Lorelai. So I definitely think the points Emily made in that conversation were fair, and that again ties into how I don't think Emily was being unfair at the dinner table when she wanted them to go and hang out.
Yeah, I don't think the request was unfair.
Yeah.
I think I just did see a bit of the manipulation, and I think because it was tied into the same conversation of, as I said, them dismissing Lorelai wanting to share about the wedding she was planning. It really broke my heart for Lorelai because, and again, I touch on later, but they're not even really trying. Moving on to the next, like, I'm kind of going, all my questions are kind of scene by scene because I'm typing them as we go.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that happened.
We're at the wedding. We're at the planning of the wedding.
We're at the wedding?
Oh, we're at the wedding. And this is just really, really random. But you know when they're talking on the bridge to the two twin girls and the mom? Mm-hmm. There is a random high-heeled shoe.
Just sitting there?
Just on the ground. There's no pair with it. It's so just girlhood. Like they clearly forgot, like didn't check the scene. Yeah. Because it doesn't even fit the rest of the scene. Like there's not more clothes. They're prepping this beautiful wedding.
And there's just a high-heeled shoe.
And there's just a high-heeled shoe.
Beautiful.
There's my random.
I love that. I think that's a cool fact. Thank you for sharing.
And then the next scene, we're getting into the golf part of it. Would you have worn that hat if Grandma bought it for you?
So
why was it like kind of Rastafarian?
Like, okay, Bob Marley. Yeah, I thought it was weird. So the thing is, if Grandma bought me that, I'd be wearing that everywhere. But that's also because it looks like the kind of hat like a pot smoker would wear back in the day. No, but I'm saying that's a big style out here. People would think I'm pretty cool for that.
Or a poser.
Yeah, but I think on a golf course, I wouldn't have worn that. That makes sense for the skids around here to wear, but the golf course threw me off.
I'm not in the golf world, but when she pulled that, I'm like,
the shape of the hat makes sense to me.
Golfy.
Yeah, but it's just the color. But honestly, I think it was a chill hat. I do want to say there was a quote here.
Okay.
So while Richard and Rory, I just want to point out to everybody listening, we cut this out earlier, but I have written Richard's name as George in my entire note section for this episode. I don't know why I think his name is George. I don't know where I got that from, but if I call him George or slip up at any point, that is why.
Yeah, I cut most of it because there was a lot of dead time of us arguing because she was adamant his name was George.
That they called him George at some point, because why would I write George? And George is short for Richard.
No, Dick is short for Richard.
Bob is short for Richard.
No, Bob is short for Robert.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, a quote between George and Rory. George asks, what do you know about...
Richard!
I'm trying to be funny. Richard asked, what do you know about golf? And Rory replies that it's a good walk spoiled. And I thought that was really funny.
That's a good walk spoiled?
I thought that was a good one.
That's really funny.
Right? I know.
That line. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Have you ever played golf?
Actual golf like that? No, but I am a killer at mini golf, I will say.
Have you ever done the driving range or anything?
No, that's a little bit too rich for me.
I have gone to the driving range. It's actually a lot of fun, but I go so I can have a couple drinks and just hang out.
I heard the girls that sell booze there are really cute.
I have not seen the girls that sell booze there.
They make good tips.
I just go to the driving range. I don't actually do the holes. I think the girls that are pretty are the ones like driving around on golf carts.
Yeah.
But the only time I've been on a golf course and swung at a ball. I was dressed up as Cher because I was doing a tribute act.
Oh my gosh.
On one of the holes. And I swung as hard as I could in thigh-high, like 80s thigh-high hooker boots. And I missed. And everyone on the hole laughed at me. And I have not ever bothered to try golfing.
Well, it's hard when you're the only one in costume looking like a hooker.
I was in 4-inch stiletto heels.
And Cher wouldn't be good at golf. I don't care how much money she has. There's no way. You can't be that tall and be good at golf.
I don't know, Cher, if you're listening, let us know if you're good at golf. Anyways, that's my golf story. That is not. I'm not gonna let you mock Cher.
What's up, bitch? I'm Cher.
I'm not letting it happen.
That's what she sounds like. I had a comment for that. If you and I had a Gilmore Girls style TV show, then actually, guys, so one thing I agreed on, I introduced a song to my mom that would be our theme song.
Yes.
If we had a Gilmore Girls show, and it's called The Power of Two by the Indigo Girls. It's so cute. It fits that vibe perfectly. Happy
when she played it for me.
Well, it's multiplying life by the power of two. It's the two of us, and I don't know, I love it. But if we had that, it would totally be, I know your job's a bit different now.
Yeah.
But it would totally be, you do your tribute things and you have your costumes to do like these different tribute acts for like music and like a band and stuff, and your little silly side plots are to do with that. And that's all I want to say. It's just like, really cute. That's exactly what your job would be focused on in our TV show.
That. Thank you.
Because it's like fun and unique.
For anybody who doesn't know us, it's mostly family listening, but I did grow up in a tribute act family.
Yeah.
And I've done tribute since I was 8-9 years old.
Liza Minnelli.
Oh, I thought you said lies, and I'm like, I'm not lying.
No, that's the truth. She would dress up as Liza Minnelli.
So Marilyn Monroe, Liza Minnelli, Cher, Connie Francis, Brenda Lee, Patsy Cline, Dolly. I've done a lot of them, so that was my
Freddie
life.
Mercury.
So I did a little bit of Freddie Mercury. That was fun
mustache
when I was working
moment.
with the band.
But yeah.
So that's what she's bringing up, and that makes me really happy. We should, just for the funsies, even if it's not on the show, we should add Indigo Girls to our playlist.
Oh, that absolutely.
Don't forget, we got a Spotify playlist. It only has 3 songs on it right now.
If you have any recommendations, send them in, please. Yeah,
we
have an email.
We're going to be sharing our favorite song of the episode later on, but we are building a playlist,
and our favorite song, one of our favorite songs isn't one that's able to be added to Spotify anyway because it's not on there. So definitely, if you have a recommendation, send it to us.
Yeah,
so far we are one short.
So in this episode, we finally have the Backpack Through Europe trip mentioned.
Yes, I have the quote for that.
Oh, please quote it.
Okay, so George, he says, Richard says to Rory while on the course, he says, your mom never got to travel too much. And Rory says, I know. She talks about it all the time, though. We've got a deal. When I graduate high school, we're going to backpack Europe together, do the whole hostel thing. That's it. But
no, I was.
That's
so
when
excited.
she brings it up, so I made sure to write it down.
And I very much related to that because, again, had Zoe young, that's the whole reason we're doing this podcast, is how we relate to it. And I wanted to travel. That's all I've ever wanted to do, and I wanted to go and be an au pair.
And you didn't get to do it too much.
And I didn't get to do it at all.
Yeah.
I did like some U.S. trips in like Mexico, but I never got off the continent until last year. I finally went to Ireland and Scotland.
Woo!
Yes. I think I've already mentioned that.
And we went to Florida, the best place on earth.
I already said I did U.S. places. Okay.
It was too hot and gross there. I don't like it.
Disney World was fun, but
Disney World was okay.
But I digress. So very excited about this trip coming up, even if I'm a little overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, totally. If I get that new job, I'll be able to actually make money to put towards. Guys, my last paycheck, $87. What am I supposed to do with that? I have a phone bill. And then I need to put something to savings, so I have no spending money.
Just wait until your paychecks are like over $1,000,
and you still can't do anything with it.
And you can't do anything.
Still, I would like to have bills to worry about, guys. I need to get my N. I'm gonna get my car soon.
Yeah, we should take you driving more.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I have to talk about these gross old white men talking shit about their grandkids.
Oh, that's not the gross old white men that we were. Yeah, okay.
Well, the ones in about all of it.
The steam.
Yeah, the steam room, and even at the table, or like
at the table, Ed and Ed. I was gonna say Ed and Ed reminded me so much of the two old men in the Muppets.
Yeah, those ones. I don't actually know their names off the top of my head.
I don't looked it up either. Before. I know that they're lovers.
Are they really?
No, but one of their wives, it's funny because one of their wives is just the same Muppet as the other old man, but in a dress.
Oh, that's really
so
funny.
It's like they're married to women that look exactly like each other.
I really love that.
Right?
Yeah, I only know them as we're Marley
and Marley. That's why Ed and Ed. I was like, okay.
Ed and Ed. Yeah. That's really funny. I was so disgusted. I'm like, I am so glad I did not have a grandfather that talked about me that way and that actually just loved and adored me.
My grandfather doesn't have any bone in his body that could be capable of saying stuff like that about us.
No, he absolutely adored you too. You're so lucky you got to have a great grandfather.
I have. Oh, and I had a great grandfather.
Oh yeah, I was talking about Papa, and you're talking about Rob.
Yeah, I was talking about Rob.
Yeah, my stepdad.
Oh, your
Rob.
grandpa was Papa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird to think about.
Isn't that we didn't have the same grandpa?
That's crazy.
Yeah, believe it or not, we are not sisters.
We are not sisters. I know everyone says we look like it. We don't look like sisters.
I know.
There's nothing. It's not that I wouldn't like to look like you. We have the same smile, and I love that. I'm getting your smile more and more every day. But genuinely, aside from our mannerisms, every single feature on our faces and everything about us, they don't look anything like each other. It's just our mouth.
Yeah.
And even our teeth are different.
But I have had people, like friends, message me that have listened to the podcast and been like, what do you mean you don't look alike? So they see it. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I had to look up odious just in case nobody else knew what that word meant.
What is odious?
They use it in the show, and it's extremely unpleasant or repulsive.
I think you're odious.
Yeah. Apparently that felt relevant to me when I made that note, but I can't even remember the context.
I mean,
of the word.
I know what odorous means.
Is that you?
It means you stink.
It means you stink.
I don't stink.
Do you need to go to bath?
Do I need to go to bath? Call back.
Michelle, he's scared of the swans. He calls it a band of swans attacked him.
Oh, yeah, that's
I just thought you should know it is a bevy or a flock.
A bevy.
Not a band.
I'm going to name my daughter that.
The band of swans. Okay.
I have a quote. I have one last quote, and it's from when Rory's actually in the steam room too.
Okay.
It's these two rich women. They're going back and forth. They're talking a lot. They're actually referred to as the spa girls, and they're having a little conversation.
That's where odious comes from. They kept calling that poor
They call the poor woman that keeps coming in odious.
Okay,
but these two girls, one of them mentions a woman named Janine, and the other responds, "Oh, I love Janine. Is she out yet?" And I thought that was funny because they talk about Janine getting a divorce from her husband, and they're like, "Oh, I love Janine. Is she out yet?"
Do you think that they're meaning like...
Oh, they absolutely mean gay.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, exactly. Because we were talking about if they mention gays, and they do. They're talking about how she got a divorce from her husband and stuff, and how that relationship ended, and they don't see her around a lot anymore. But that's what she said. She's like, "Oh, I love Janine. Is she out yet?" And then that's where the scene ends, because it's meant to be...
I did not take it that way at all. I thought it was meant like, when you're out in society after a divorce.
Oh, no, it's definitely gay in the context of her leaving her husband.
I'm going to have to go look that up.
Yeah, you should. Because I'm right. I thought that was funny.
So I did, as much as I did not... So I wrote this next thing that I said I related to, and then I did not agree with the rest of the scene. I related to Lorelai being a little upset that her daughter took her favorite sweater.
Oh, that pissed me off. She used the sweater as an excuse to fight with her daughter over underlying emotions that were already there, which we know a lot about.
Yes, we do know a lot about. But I do, in fact, not like when my clothes are taken without being asked. It doesn't really happen too much anymore. Yeah, but they already
wear each other's clothes all the time.
I'm just saying.
And then Rory apologized, and then Lorelai made it into this big thing, like, okay, but you're stretching it out. And Lorelai's like, my boobies are way smaller than yours. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that entire scene was crazy.
It's like, okay, child. Yeah. I do have a bit of my teen perspective. I have it throughout the whole episode, but I wrote a bit of stuff about here. So I definitely feel for Lorelai in the episode, but one thing about a mother-daughter relationship, especially one where the mom is single and you've kind of grown up together, is you have to be so careful not to project your sadness and your trauma onto your child, because you may be close, but she's not your friend and she's not your sister. She's your daughter. So even though, of course, she is your support system to go through, and I've felt for you during this, and I feel for Lorelai and a lot of moms that have that dynamic with their kids. It's different for the daughter to come to the mom with every issue she has, but it is not appropriate for a mother to lean on her daughter the same way all the time. So I feel for Rory, because yes, Lorelai apologized and it ended up being okay, but with how much Lorelai was projecting her issues with Rory getting close to Lorelai's parents, it sucks, because it puts this feeling on Rory where it's like, okay, but these people are good to me. Yeah. I know they've hurt my mom, but they're good to me, and I can't treat them the same way my mom treats them, and I don't want to either, because they're helping me with my school and with my life, and they're putting in a different effort that they did for me than they did her. So I really felt for Rory in that way, because you want to be there for your mom and you want to understand her better than anybody else, but also it isn't her job to hold her mom's trauma all the time.
100%. We'll probably talk more about it too, that one of the downsides of being a teen mom is you grow up with your kid. Yeah. Regardless of society trying to tell us that your 20s is when you're an adult, you really aren't.
No. Your brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25 even.
And so you do a lot of growing up in your 20s, and your 30s, I really feel, is only when I've started to get a footing, especially now in a day and age where mental health is more talked about and there's more access to help and things like that. So I did a lot of growing up with you, and you had to come along for the ride.
And it sucked a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
No, but it's just what happens in that kind of situation.
So with Lorelai and Rory, it's very similar. And so I did feel for Lorelai. I would never ever have attacked your body, especially your like breasts. That really was like, are you really saying this right now? I was
it was a sisterly dynamic, and it's entirely inappropriate.
Yeah, I was horrified by it. The one thing, so I actually did something kind of weird. We do this segment where we give our L's and we give our W's. So our losses and our wins of the episode. And I've actually given Lorelai both.
Yes! I did the exact same thing. No way. Except so I've given two people both. Okay. I've given Lorelai both the L and the W, and Richard both the L and the W, because he was great for getting close with Rory.
He actually did put in an effort.
He put in an effort, and he stood up for her and stuff, and talked her up, and he became like really close and excited with her, which was so cute. Yeah. But he failed Lorelai. And why 100%. Why are you showing up for Rory and seeing what is so amazing about her incredible smarts when she got that from her mom? Maybe they apply it differently, but she gets her thinking and like her criticalness from her mother,
because Lorelai didn't do it in their way.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's like, good for Richard, but he also is only doing it because he realized Rory fits their mold.
Exactly.
So she is relatable, rather than trying to find a way to relate.
And that's why he gets the L.
But before, Lorelai really messed up.
Big L on that one. That sucked.
Realized why. Yeah. Like, she went to Suki and she's like, holy crap, I was crazy.
It didn't take 4 episodes.
No. And there was no silent treatment. There was no, she didn't go to Rory and be like, hey, but you did this. It was like, I don't think she said these exact words, but it's like, it was jealousy and insecurity. She worked so hard to keep Rory out of this world, and now she's seeing Rory very much fit in to this world she never thought she did, and she was jealous that she was seeing Rory get the relationship with her parents she wanted. She's like, wait, you went to the club? Wait, like, but she didn't get that side, and then she looks off to see this little girl being screamed at in a pretty dress, and she's going, like, that's what I got. That was my life.
Well, and she also sees that now she could feel, this was kind of always my thing as an only child, is I have an amazing family and amazing mom, but I always wanted a sibling and always wanted a person there because then that was a person who was guaranteed to understand what my home was like with the door closed. Because it's not like it was abusive or anything like that, but you know, grandma, if I came to her with any issue, then she would immediately be against you or something like that. And if I went to any other family member or any other friend, of course, they just didn't really understand. They didn't hold the same love for you and understanding for you as I did, through situations that maybe would have been hard. And I had always wanted a sibling so that they did get that, and I could kind of just even look at them and know that we see the same kind of stuff. And I feel for Lorelai in that way, because Rory kind of became that person that Lorelai could talk to about her parents, and that Rory was supposed to like kind of understand. It's like, yeah, grandma and grandpa suck. Like they put you through all this stuff. But now that she sees that Rory's getting an entirely different experience and is not going to relate to what Lorelai went through, then once again, now Lorelai's kind of feeling alone.
Yeah.
And I felt for her on that. Yeah.
She's like, I now look like...
No one understands the situation she went. Even her boyfriend, who she got pregnant from, and that saw that dynamic as well. Her parents loved him and will make any excuse for the shit that he put Lorelai through. Yeah. So she can't even relate to the one person that would have been there during that for her.
Yeah. She had nobody.
Yeah.
She only had Lorelai. She only had Rory. So yeah, I'm so grateful that you were able to see that too, and that we had the same thought. That's so funny, because I didn't like how she showed up, but I really did appreciate how she showed up after.
Yeah, and the apology itself wasn't my favorite, but it's one of those things where just it was only written how it was because of the kind of TV show it is. So to Rory, the apology was acceptable and stuff. And for example, when Lorelai, I don't want to go on too long about this, but when Lorelai goes and apologizes to Rory at the end, Rory basically says like, yeah, I know, I understand. And she makes it clear, it's like, yeah, I know why you're sorry. I get that whole thing. And it's supposed to show the dynamic of just how deeply they understand each other and how they don't hold these grudges as deep because they can make so many excuses for each other in their head of understanding why they do what they do. But that's also an issue I have in a lot of relationships, because I think it can get pretty toxic, and I think you need to be careful, because as much as you understand someone better than maybe anybody else does in a lot of ways, that does not mean that you always need to make those excuses for them and to remind yourself, oh, well, they did this, because it only matters if they actually show up and show that they understand what they did wrong. So at the end, it was good that Lorelai apologized. It just wasn't my favorite kind of apology, but that isn't a criticism on her. It's just the writing of the show.
Yeah, it wasn't like a direct apology while still being one.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a lot of things were left unsaid that I thought should have been said.
Part of me does wonder if it was just like Lorelai wanted to get the awkwardness out of the way, but they were still at a work event.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, has she ever, with her daughter around that job, has she ever actually treated it like a workplace with Rory?
I think apologies in parenting are really important. And I think as younger generations are now becoming parents, apologies are starting to become more common space. But I know I grew up in a household, and no offense to anybody, but they didn't apologize. It was not something parents did. And so I did a lot of things wrong with Zoe. But one of the promises I had made her when she was a newborn in my arms is I would always say sorry. And
which you got way better at over the years.
It was a work in progress.
Yeah.
I came from a family with temper issues, and all I knew about parenting was what I had seen and was raised with. Social media and seeing other parents and parenting coaches and all those things right around you was not a thing.
No. So you had to like pick up a book.
I only knew what I had seen. And so in those beginning years, I really wasn't at my best.
Yeah, that was probably the roughest it got. So I received a lot of apologies for things when I was older, which was great, and she apologizes all the time now. And I loved getting those apologies, but it's definitely the younger you can start apologizing to your kid and recognizing those things, the better, because it does stick with you.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm remembering wrong. I do think I always managed to apologize, but I think I got better at being quicker about it.
I think some things it just took a few years because, but that's the thing about parenting is you remember things differently than your kid, because something that ended up like really hurting me would be something that my mom didn't realize was as deep as it was, because even if she had done nothing wrong, a kid would still take a tone or an action very differently. Especially I was a very sensitive kid. So I think that's just the truth in parenting too, is you grow up and then your kid talks to you about things that you never realized were bad, and a lot of the time, you never realized were hurtful. And I think a lot of parents then kind of struggle to get off that high horse of being a parent, because then you have to look back so far in the past and then recognize that something that maybe you don't agree with hurt someone.
Yeah, and you have to...
did hurt someone.
And you have to be accountable.
You do. Regardless of whether or not you think it's fair. It's like if it hurt your child, you still need to show up for that.
Because the bottom line is, I truly believe none of us have any business being parents. No. This is our first time on this planet.
Yeah.
Unless you believe in reincarnation. But this is our first time on this planet. First time being parents. We all don't know what we're doing. And the biggest lie our parents ever told us was that they did know what they're doing, because they're all in their 50s and 60s. And I know for a fact they still don't fully know what they're doing.
No.
And so not only was it my first time being a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, an anything-year-old, but it was my first time parenting, as it is with a lot of us. And you make a lot of mistakes. And you, as grown-ups or parents, you're told, like, well, you're in the right. Like, it's because I said so. It doesn't really matter. And if I can give any advice to any parent out there, I think what really did save my relationship with Zoe and what has kept us so close, or part of it anyway, was my ability to acknowledge when I messed up, say sorry, and then try very hard to not do it again.
Well, and that reflected on me, because then that became a standard I held myself to.
Yes.
As well. The younger you teach them to apologize, then the younger that they can take accountability themselves. And a lot of kids struggle with that. A lot of your guys' kids are mean.
They are
Just
mean.
Saying. They lack empathy. They're little monsters. Yeah.
Say sorry.
Say sorry.
Just say sorry.
Say sorry.
We got a little off track. Say sorry.
One thing, and just last thing I'll end that with. One thing about having a teen mom too that I kind of see is very different from other people my age. Like, for example, my best friends, they're sisters, and their parents are much older than my mom. They're like in their 40s, moving into 50s, and that's closer to my grandma's age. So there's a lot of differences between my mom and their parenting dynamics. And, I look at my friends and just a lot of kids my age, and it's very common to have that mindset when you're in high school and you're becoming an adult of, well, I want to like correct my parents' wrongs. I want to become a different person than they were. And I think that like every kid in high school, once they're leaving, even if their parents were great, that's kind of something that they aim to do. But my mindset has always been, especially in high school, if I had a kid right now, would I be able to mother them differently than my mom did? And she did great, but it is an interesting mindset that I notice I have compared to a lot of other people. It's less like, oh, I'm trying to become a different adult than my mom was, and it's like, if I could parent a child right now and if I had to, would I do it any differently? And that's kind of my mindset with growing up. It's just like, if I had to be a mother and I had to like look at someone else all the time, because it's a mirror. A relationship with anybody, family, partners, it's a mirror. So it's like, if I had to parent someone, would I show up for them the way that I would hope I would? And I think it's kind of a valuable mindset to have, because it's kind of, you're looking outside of yourself and you're looking at how you affect the people around you. And I think a lot of people need to see it that way more.
And you always go in with like the best intentions.
Yeah.
And then when you're actually in it, when you're having to experience firsthand, you never know how you're actually going to react and respond and follow through on things and do things.
And I'm sure as a parent, there's, especially a young parent, like there's that struggle of, okay, but I need to prioritize myself. I need to take care of myself. It's like, my kid is everything too, but if I'm arguing with them and stuff, it's like, I need to show them that I I am a person and that I don't deserve these things either, and that the fights we get into hurt me as well, and that I'm struggling too. And I think that's hard when you're a teen parent, because it's like you, as a teenager, you already don't know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I think I tried very hard to not spin that around on you, though, and being like, well, I'm also hurting, and I'm also this.
I wasn't looking at it in a negative way. I'm saying it's like, I guess I should have said that too. It's like it's that struggle of wanting to show that, but also not trying to spin it on the kid all the time, because I think it's every parent's right. Fault. No, but I think it's, we got into a lot of fights where I was very unfair to you, and I deserved to know that I was being unfair to you, because a lot of the time kids don't look at their parents as human beings either. So I don't know. I imagine that was something that was hard.
It was. Yeah, it was. It was all hard.
It was all hard.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know who I was as a human being, because how do you know that at 18 years old?
Yeah.
But you were worth figuring it out for.
Aw, power of two. Kirk appearance.
Another Kirk appearance.
We saw Kirk in this episode. He's back. Different name, though.
What was his name this time?
I don't know. I did not catch it.
But
he was the swan guy.
I can't wait for him to actually just be Kirk.
Do you think he's handsome?
I think he's got a cuteness to him.
I think he's cute. I think he's cute.
I wouldn't know if I'd go handsome, but I do.
He's handsome for a
before we move too far past, our conversation was very deep and I don't want to say off topic, but when Lorelai was talking about her upbringing, she had a really weird line, and she was talking about you're wearing that ruffled underwear, big crowd pleaser. She's talking about when she was like a little girl being pranced around at these parties.
Well, that's true. You see little rich girls, they have dresses that are shorter than their underwear. So they're little ruffled underwear shows.
It really irked me. Just a random
thing I had seen that you had written that down.
Yeah, you're wearing that ruffled underwear, big crowd pleaser. I'm like, ugh. She's not wrong though.
No, but it's the truth. You buy ruffled underwear for your baby, or like creepy. Rich people would, to show it off to people.
I want to talk about Emily and the passive aggressiveness at the very end.
At the end, yeah. So I have this comment. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Fuck Emily's little comment at the end of the episode. Funny how things turn out. Shut up.
Yeah, my entire spiel here is, we know she is like this, but I really felt this was the first time it was very blatant.
Yeah.
And then my question is, do you think she kind of has a right to her attitude towards Lorelai?
No.
Because she is hurt. She ran off and kept Rory distant. Or do you think it is up to Emily to try to put a bigger effort into healing her relationship with her daughter?
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Well, it's like you can't blame... Emily has the mindset of, you can't blame your parents for everything, which is already stupid and harmful. You can have the most perfect parent in the world, but any little action they have structures the child's nervous system and every way that they view the world and taking care of themselves. So you can blame your parents for everything. You can't blame them for the fact that you don't put an effort into stuff now, but Emily has that victim mindset. And then, I lost my train of thought with that one. But I don't think Emily should have made that comment, because I think it was unnecessary. They already established that Rory had a good time and stuff, and Lorelai was already feeling down because no one was talking to her about her shit that night while she was sitting with Emily.
Yeah, it was.
She said that just to hurt her.
It was definitely a barb. It was said just to be painful.
It was to get a victory.
And then they all abandon her. Like, let's be real. Emily doesn't give a crap of whatever book Richard and Rory are talking about.
Yeah, what do you mean she wants to see it?
I want to see too. It's like,
you just wanted to leave your daughter alone.
Sit down and ask your daughter about how the wedding went at the end.
Because that's the thing. It's like, your daughter is doing something. Being a wedding planner and having a wedding at your inn is that's very successful behavior.
Emily plans events.
Yeah.
Emily knows the kind of work that goes into planning an event.
So that's something that Lorelai
she could relate to it.
She brought it up because Lorelai brought it up because she knew that would normally be something that they would find impressive. Yeah. But as soon as it's Lorelai doing it, then it's nothing to bat an eye about.
My heart really did break for
while she's
Lorelai
sitting in that living room alone.
But even and at the beginning, the whole episode, I really did feel for her, and I felt like she really did a fantastic job in her acting portraying all of those little emotions, not a little emotions, but all of the things of the insecurity, the jealousy,
the frustrations,
and the yearning.
Yeah.
She's yearning for, as much as she is so mad at her parents and doesn't want this relationship with them, seeing them have it with somebody else, seeing them have it with Rory. It wasn't just Lorelai being jealous of losing Rory's attention. She was like, why could you guys never give me that yourself?
Well, and she's not getting credit. Rory is, like, yes, Rory's her own person, but Lorelai raised her all by herself. She got to choose the influences in Rory's life, like the people they grew up around, the town they were in, like who she let be around Rory, and she's the one who is rightfully credited for influencing like pretty much every behavior and like way that that Rory's mind works. So why is it so easy for them to love Rory but then also like basically be surprised that Lorelai was able to create a child like Rory to begin with? Because it's like, if you love Rory, you have to love Lorelai.
That's very well said. Yeah. It's very true. I actually saw a post, because now, of course, my Facebook is just full of Gilmore Girls stuff, and people had made, it was something about how Lorelai wasn't fair to Emily. And I was just like, unless you have dealt with a narcissistic parent, you genuinely don't understand that Lorelai had every right to respond and react the way that she has, because there's different levels of abuse. And Emily is mentally and verbally and emotionally abusive.
And she's neglectful.
She's just subtle about it. And then not so subtle, like we saw in this episode today. So I definitely went
But those
at it
comments
in the
would be subtle for other people looking at it, which is why it's so easy to weaponize that, because you can't go out and say anything to other people because they're going to be like, oh, but your mom wasn't acting that way at all. You need to look at it from my perspective.
She bought you things. She's this, she's that. It's like, are you not seeing it?
Yeah. Well, also, it's not like, as much as you can say, oh, like, I don't know how deep the show gets into their stuff, but maybe Emily has these past traumas. Maybe Emily did really try at certain points, but then Lorelai went off and did something that kind of disrespected the effort that Emily put in. Regardless, even, I think, like, yes, teenagers are becoming adults and they are responsible for a lot of what they do. They are still children. Yes. And you cannot make a child just like understand why you do everything that you do, you know? And I think a lot of the time kind of forcing that mindset on the kid, like, okay, but think of me. Think of me. That's not helpful, and it's not healthy, and it's
look at how you hurt me.
Yeah, it should be expected of the parent.
Yeah.
To just communicate with the kid instead of them having to play these mind games where they just have to guess how you're feeling and why you're feeling this, and then constantly be on edge because they need to be responsible for your feelings all the time.
Emily is all about, oh, and I was just such a bad parent, wasn't I? Well, look, you left me. You took Rory from me. You hurt me.
You had a baby.
And Lorelai's like, hi, what about how you hurt me too?
Yeah. Like, sorry, I wasn't thinking of you and how this affects all of you when I was going through one of the biggest life-changing moments in my life.
I know we get some growth from Emily, luckily, but I was really mad at her in this episode.
Yeah.
Let's move on to best outfits.
Best outfits. So mine is at the end during the wedding when Lorelai and Rory are, apologizing and having their discussion. Rory is in a red sweater with a red shirt. And she has, at the wedding, and she has her little bangs and pigtails with some little red clips, and she has a red bracelet and a black choker on. And I just think it's the cutest outfit, and it's totally something that I would wear.
I totally missed that one. I was all about Lorelai's outfit.
Really? You missed it?
I loved her final outfit. It was like a pink shirt under this leather jacket with a skirt, and it was very like 90s kind of whimsy, but not full whimsy goth. And I just thought that Lorelai on that final scene,
she always has pretty good style,
looked gorgeous, but like epitome 90s. I just absolutely loved it. Her hair, her lipstick color, and the opening scene, she had a green cardigan, and I was like, I need to find that cardigan immediately. Oh, Zoe is showing me a picture of Rory. Yeah, that's
a cute one, right? That's very me.
I think sometimes I don't instantly notice Rory's clothes because
that's not you.
Yeah, you're always looking at Lorelai.
You're looking at Lorelai.
Let's move on. Favorite lines.
I shared all of mine already.
You shared all of yours? Okay.
Yeah, the first like 5
one of mine,
minutes.
again, my favorite, Michelle. Somebody asks him, any problems? He goes, with the wedding or my life?
Yeah.
I'm like, that needs to be my new quote. We can't just call everyone sweetie and get away with it. There's the scene where Michelle is acting like, seems so impressive because he knows the names of both of the twin guys.
Yeah, and he has a post-it note on the back of
there's
them.
a post-it note on the one, and he goes, we can't just call everyone sweetie and get away with it.
Yeah.
So he needs the post-it notes. I just love Michelle.
That's
oh my
true.
Goodness.
Oh, when the harpist is complimenting his ass as he's walking away.
It was a little weird.
Well, it's, ladies, you can like a man's ass. It's just crazy seeing like more stuff that implies that he's straight.
Yeah, so I did look it up. I did not finish A Year in the Life. Apparently, A Year in the Life does imply more heavily that he is gay or bisexual.
I told you.
But again, I didn't watch it. So if you are watching this, comment and let us know. I didn't finish it because it made me so angry. Yeah. But I did have a thing from this. She called him Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, that was funny. I loved that.
So funny. Oh, and then the line from Lorelai when Emily was saying, well, it's very important for Rory to make friends, don't you think? And Lorelai responds was, especially now that the crack den has closed down on the corner, all her really good friends are gone.
Yeah, that was so funny. I love her little comments like that.
She's just so funny.
Well, and once again, it's like, yeah, Lorelai has managed to put her daughter into a good school with good friends, give her a good education.
She has friends.
She has
Emily.
Great friends who have really strict parents and are very, like, quote unquote, pure young people. So it's pure like, these are the types of friends that Rory probably would have made if Emily had raised her anyway.
We have song.
Yeah, we don't have any trip updates for this, so I think it's just song and then rating this episode out of coffee cups.
Yeah, we've had a really good episode of discussion today.
We have.
Told
you,
my song that I came up was from this moment, Shania Twain. There wasn't a lot of songs that jumped out to me, but I do love that one.
Yeah, and they did mention one of the things when we're picking our favorite songs is it doesn't always need to be one that was played. It just needs to be one that was mentioned. So
I'm picking that one, adding it to our Where You Lead podcast.
Absolutely. And mine is at the end of the episode when Rory is going out with Richard and Emily to look at the book and Lorelai is left alone. There's a song playing called Here They Go by Sam Phillips. I believe that this song was just written for Gilmore Girls because she just repeats one line over and over again for maybe 2 minutes at most. And it's only available on YouTube Music because the only place it has been uploaded to is YouTube.
Okay.
So we can't actually get it on Spotify, which sucks because I really like it and I think it's really cute. And I think, Here They Go. That would have been a good thing to add to our list. But we do use YouTube Music primarily, so we can still listen to it on our trip.
That's true. We could actually make a playlist on both.
We probably will so that I'll be able to access it too. I don't like Spotify. I don't like your freaking ads. And I don't like that Joni Mitchell and freaking Neil Young don't have most of their songs on there. You need to pay your artists better so that I can listen to them.
We're not going to bash them too much because we are playing our podcast on there. But you are correct. Pay your artists better.
Pay your artists better. Pay me.
Pay your artists. Yeah. Pay me. What are you rating? Wow.
What are
we rating this episode?
Well, yeah. Okay. So for our final thing, rating it out of coffee cups, my original rating was a 3 out of 5. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm pretty confident, like through the first time watching it, I think that's a good rating to give it because not a lot happened, it was still just like laying down the grounds of it. But I think when you look at it on a deeper level and we have the discussion that we had now, it was definitely like a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5.
I have to agree. I actually was going to say the same thing. I had it rated a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I thought we wouldn't have much to talk about. When I
originally thought we wouldn't have much to talk about.
When I watched it, I'm like, I don't feel like a lot happened.
Yeah, it feels a bit more boring.
I'm almost grateful that we had a week and a bit between because I have thought about the episode more.
Me too.
And I'm like, oh wait, a lot does happen and a lot of important stuff happens. And I would agree. I think it's moved up to a 4.5 for me because we get some really important insight to Lorelai's background.
You
how
gotta
Emily
dig
actually was
a little deeper.
Yeah, just like that. But yeah, I'd say a 4 feels fair.
Okay, we're landing on a 4 out of 5 coffee cups for this episode.
We have, you really do. I actually did have a friend ask, how did your test go? That was what we ended off of before we leave.
Oh, right. So
really quickly give a breakdown of your test before we say our goodbyes.
Yeah, the test went good. So it's AP European history. So we're learning between the 13th and the 16th century. And my teacher, not a lot of classes for kids my age now use textbooks. Everything's online. But we have one big textbook that we have to read our way through. So these tests are chapter tests every week and a half. And my teacher, I'm looking at you, Mr. A, okay, he made this seem like it was such a big deal. I've had his classes before, and he said, this is the hardest test you'll ever have with me. So I do all of these notes, 2 pages worth of like the smallest writing I've ever done, the most extensive notes I've ever taken for anything. And I get in, and it's 2 questions, and then I have to label what one photo represented. And it was Martin Luther hanging his 95 amendments on a church door. Nothing crazy. Literally the big thing that whole chapter focuses on. And then the other question, I just had to rearrange the timeline that certain events took place at. And it was only 4 events. But then, and so I'm like, oh, okay, we're chilling. This is way easier than I thought. I didn't need to stay up till 3 a.m. doing all these notes. And then he starts like yelling out random things during the test, and I wasn't really paying attention because he's like laughing with some kids and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm busy writing my test. I want to get a good mark. Turns out he was yelling out random bonus questions. He yelled out 4 different bonus questions, even though people were saying, oh, but that's already on the test. And he's like, I'll give it to you anyway. So everyone still got higher marks than me because I wasn't listening to his rambling because I was busy doing the test.
She was very upset about this.
Don't do that. That's crazy.
But you did pass?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it doesn't matter. We did retakes anyway. So I did a retake and it was fine. But then the retake we did was so hard because he gave us like 24 multiple answer questions. And then the goal was to get every single one wrong. So I got all of them wrong, but then I was stressed out because my paper has all these X's on them. I don't know. It's not my thing, guys. And because of this breakup, I missed my last test, so I've got to redo that now.
You'll catch up. Every day it'll get a bit easier.
No, every day the AP is going to get a lot harder.
I just mean breakup and recouping and getting life back on track.
Yeah, I wish it was the class getting easier.
Yeah,
I'm fine being sad in my personal life, but in school, I want to be thriving.
You'll get there. You're very smart, my baby.
Maybe. Anyway.
Thank you for such an amazing discussion today.
Yeah, today was wonderful.
I always appreciate your thoughts. You're so smart and
so
wise. And just thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, and thank you for all you guys listening. I love you too, my mama.
And thank you guys. We will be back on time next week.
And we'll do 2 episodes.
Oh, we're going to do, okay.
Well, we're behind an episode, so we might as
well.
Yep.
Yesterday.
Next week is going to be double trouble.
Double feature.
Oh.
All right. I love you, Zoe.
I love you too,
You
Mama.
are the Rory to my Lorelai.
You're the Lorelai to my Rory.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye.